Hello, how are you doing? You're doing well. I am going to be continuing where I left off yesterday. So we are probably going to be working on our blocked app list and working on the functionality. Last time we worked on, oh, I don't know. Okay, it is working. So last time we worked on making this selectable. We didn't change the color or anything, but, and also my emulator looks a little bit smaller, but yeah, we are going to continue working on it and just adding apps into our block list. So pretty exciting, pretty fun, and hopefully you guys can learn something from it. But yeah, sorry, I was a little bit distracted. If you don't know me, my name's Joemer. I'm a Google software engineer, and on this channel, I like to share my coding sessions, document some of my work, and hopefully provide a platform for you guys to learn, code with me, and just overall have a positive community. Hopefully, it helps you guys out. So, yeah, we're trying to get as close as we can to a minimum viable product, get these apps into your hand, into early adopters' hands, and so far it's been going well. And I think we just have to keep on moving along. We have about, um, we have this page, or this setting, or this app page, and then we have like two more pages. So we're trying to get through that quickly. I don't know how long it's going to take to finish this particular app page, just because this is where we grab app data, we look at the apps that are currently installed by a user, and there's so many things that are kind of difficult. Grabbing the app data, testing with mock app data, which I still need to look into, and then we also need to make sure that it's cross-platform compatible with Apple, so iOS. And currently this only works on Android, and it only works on device, which doesn't work very well for certain tests that we have, which are tested on like mock UI that may not be on a device. So we have to figure out how exactly we want to do this. But yeah, last time, if I remember correctly, we are currently trying to filter this list here by the, we want to filter it by a list of dynamic apps that aren't already blocked. And so if we block it, we don't want to see it. And the problem right now is that this method, where we grab the app list over here, where is it? Where we grab the app list from a device, or the list of apps from a device, this only happens once when we start the app or we spin it up the first time. It does not take, this doesn't get called when we are refreshing the app or currently in the app. And so we need to manipulate our block app page to change the current list instead of changing the dynamic list that's generated from pulling up the app list from the device, if that makes any sense. So I believe the only thing that we need to do here, last time we created a variable outside of the widget because we found out that when we initially had this array in the widget itself, every time that we refreshed the widget, we also refreshed our Boolean values, which we don't want. And so, and also I don't know if I want the variable to be here or if it should be a part of the widget and we should do widget.selected apps. And I'm not sure. I feel like in coding practice, these properties, well, we can ask, right? We can just ask like, in a stateful widget, when do we add a property to the, what would this be called? To the stateful widget instead of the state. I have a feeling that we're supposed to add it to the stateful widget, but sometimes it's annoying because you have to do like widget dot property. So let's see. Data that is passed from the parent widget and remains constant throughout the widget's lifecycle. Okay, so configuration options, references to other objects, initial values for fields. However, the more appropriate to add to state if data changes over time with user interactions. Okay, cool. So this is actually correct because this array will be manipulated. So let's see here. So on tab here, and then what we want is when we, let's also open our Notion because we wrote a lot of this stuff down yesterday on the specific logic of what we're going to be doing here. Select the apps, which we currently did, and then we keep track of what we're selecting, which we did, and we created an array with default false values that changes to true when you select it. So that's all good. And we can see that here through this array here. So it's false, false. And if we do that, it's true, false. So everything's working pretty well. And then now we want to focus on clicking the blocked app list. We want to iterate and save it to the blocked app list. So let's do that. So on press, we want to do, we actually probably want, I wonder if we want like a method. Yeah, we probably want a method. We want a method that iterates through the blocked app list. And, well, actually, we don't need to because, no, it's so, sorry. What I was thinking was usually we add helper methods when we want to modularize code, which means we create code as a code block that we can place into different areas of the code. So if I want to like create a clean function or something, I could use that everywhere within this widget. And usually you modularize code when you have logic that happens in two different places. And we don't necessarily have, I don't think that we'll have two different places. The reason being that when we're selecting apps that we want to block and we block them, we won't ever, like there won't ever be a button like this that blocks the app, right? So it really only needs to be contained within here. The second thought that I had was maybe even if we don't use it in two different places, other reasons to modularize code is because it can be a heavy block of code and it might be easier for somebody to read your lines of code if they, instead of reading like a giant block, they can read a function name and kind of understand what's being done. So I think that for the second reason, I'll probably write a function here that goes through the app list and actually that's not true. I was going to say yeah, okay. I was going to say actually I was going to say that we could make a modular method, but the thing is that we're going to be pulling in two arrays. The first one is this array that's outside of the widget, but the second array that we're going to pull in is inside the widget. And the way that we get this widget is by going into one of our change notifiers, which is just like a model that holds a list. And which doesn't get modified or refreshed on the widget. It's based on something else, which is over here. You know, it has its own properties with its own class. And there's only one instance of this focus page model. But okay, so we won't be able to do things outside. We won't be able to make a modularized method. We technically can, if we pass in the app list, we can do that. We can say, we can pass in the app list actually, and that might actually be better. Yeah, let's do that. So let's do a void, and let's say, what do we want it to do? We want it to delete, we want it to delete certain apps off of the uh, focus page model app list and add it to our blocked app list. So let's call it add apps to blocked app list. Seems a little bit redundant. Add apps to block list, maybe? This seems good. And we can say that it takes a list of profile apps, and we can say app list. And the reason why we can do this is because I don't know specifically in Dart if this works this way, but generally I'm taking this from general computer concepts. Primitive types that get passed into a function aren't assigned to a particular address in memory, and so it doesn't have a pointer like primitive types like integers. Integers is a good example. Strings sometimes between languages can take memory addresses and use pointers, but essentially arrays generally can be passed through parameters, and they'll be passed along almost like pointers. So you'll be pointing to the specific piece. You'll be pointing to the specific array that's located here at focus page model .applist, and it doesn't work the same if you were to pass an integer. Sometimes I don't know if that's the case for Dart, and I also don't know. What it's called. I just kind of like know this just from watching a lot of like courses on YouTube. So I'm sorry that I don't have a better understanding or explanation of what exactly this is, but we are going to do the first part, which is so we want to say that for we definitely want to use indexes. So int I selected app list.length, and we want to say that if selected app list I is if the selected apps if selected apps is true, which makes me think that maybe I should rename this to like is app selected. Nah, I think it's okay. So if this is true, we want, what do we want to do? Okay, so we'll do this first. We'll do delete app from app list, and then over here we'll say reset selected apps, because I think at the end of it pretty much this array is going to be too long. Let's say we delete 5 apps. This array didn't change, and we'll still have, like, let's say there's 10 apps overall, we delete 5. This app is going to, or this array is going to have 10 entries still, but we'll only want 5. And so we'll want to set the length properly, and we'll also want to make it like if you were to click the button, it unselects everything, right? Which pretty much means it resets it to its default state. So just going to write that down so I don't forget. It also just kind of helps to understand like where we're going to write our code. And so now we want to say appless dot remove, maybe? Yeah, we can remove at an index and we can remove at I, which is perfect. And then we want to do, shoot. We also want, to add to the blocked appless. So maybe we have 2 parameters? Nah. I think what we'll do, is instead we'll pass a build context and we will pull this in. So we'll say this, because we also need the main page model, right? So main model, main model. Okay, and then we can say let's do focus page model dot. We can just directly call it, which is fine, and we can say main model dot user profile dot appless dot add okay, so we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to say profile app is equal to so the thing that I'm wondering is I was just talking about memory addresses, and I wonder that if we get this app from a specific piece in memory, will this be correct? So yeah, I'm pretty much just asking if the app will still be valid or if it'll be null. Because I don't know if removing something from the array will also delete the value. Yeah, I guess we can always yeah, okay, so it doesn't get deleted because yes, it gets deleted, but there's still a reference to the piece of memory here. So it's more like the array removes the memory address, but the memory address still exists because there's a reference to it. So this should be okay. Okay, so we remove it from the focus page model, we add it to the main model, or the user profile, and then that's pretty much it for that logic. And we go through the list and we iterate, and then we say selected apps is equal to that is equal to list dot build, and we can do dot app list length, and we can reset that to false. All right, and then we want to add this here so that when we press the button, and we add the context, this adds apps to block list, and we also want it to refresh. So we want there to be a new set of values here. Okay, so I guess we can see if this works. The thing that I want to do here, actually, before I press this, is I want, let's do print selected apps, and we'll do that before and after, and let's see if that works. So block app, okay, deletes it. There's still one left. If I refresh this, I'm pretty sure, does this reset? Yes, it does, because we clear our preferences every time that we restart. And we also want to do, let's see here. Okay, this has access to focus page model. So we can, oh, this doesn't have access though to, this doesn't have access to our main model. So I just wanna, I'm just gonna do this for testing, but main model dot blocked or dot user profile dot blocked app list, and let's do that in both situations. Okay, so here we go, blocked it, and here it's so here we have the initial array, which is true or false. We have the initial array of our blocked app list, and then afterwards our selected app, there's only one in the list, and we have an instance of a profile app. I wonder if there's a way that we can, I wonder if there's a way to get the string. Well, maybe I could do two string, maybe. And this is empty anyway, but we'll let's try it again. So let's block it out. It still doesn't work. Mm. Flutter, how to implement a I want it to print out when we do toString. So let's try that. All right, let's try this. Let's try, let's see if this works. So let's do override and let's see if this works. So restart. I want to see if this actually works here. Oh, it does work. Okay, cool. So we want to say that this is the package name. Package name. All right, let's try that out. And all right, cool. So now we can see that that the array shows that it says hello world because that's the app that we blocked. If we select this and block it again, we'll see that we added all of our apps. So nice. I'm very happy about that. I guess the next thing that I want to work on is, I mean, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about if I should be caring about when this app restarts. There's like a little flicker here. Um, let's see if we can find, um, let's see if we can find something here. All right, let's see. It seems like someone here found something. Gapless playback. Okay, maybe that is easy enough. Let me hover this. Whether to continue showing the old image or briefly show nothing when the image. Okay, let's try that. Let's refresh this. No, it still flickers. I believe that we tried populating. Oh no. Let's see if there's anything else that we can find here. Doesn't seem like it's a very well-known problem, for sure. Everyone's saying that the gapless playback thing works. I know that this happens once because the image technically isn't generated. Maybe when we do this, we should just generate the icon in here instead of like waiting until we receive it, which will probably work. How do we do this? Yeah, let's just save the image here. Let's try that. Let's try doing like image like saved icon or image icon, and then we can just say that okay. We can do that, and then we can also just have it here, and we can say icon equals this. We can just replace the logic, something like this. Let's have a method here that says generate icon, takes a string. Actually, this doesn't even need a parameter. We just do this. And we can say, do all of this. Actually, we shouldn't do that. We should say, we should do something like this. And then this should just be generate icon, and we can use the byte stream, and that looks a lot cleaner. And the thing is, I don't want to just make this like image optional question mark like icon, because we will have to check for this nullability every time that we are looking for an icon. And we don't ever want to do that. Like, we always want to make sure that there is an icon here. There should always be an icon there. So it should be mandatory. And there should always be an icon byte stream. So I guess we'll just have this as we'll have this as a backup. Like, if this doesn't exist, if this doesn't exist, then we'll generate the icon. But in most cases, it should already be generated. So let's see if we still get a flicker. We still get a flicker. I think, honestly, I think for example, like, let's see. Yeah, I think for example, I think this is flickering because it takes a little bit of time to generate. But I think in a general application, the only reason why it would flicker like that is because it takes like 1 millisecond to generate the icons. I don't think we can get around that. But at the same time, this isn't the home page. So these icons will be generated in the background when we create the app list. So I think this is okay. I think this is okay. We kind of have a 2-point check here. And I think that's necessary. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Let's try it out though. So in order to test my theory on how this works, we want to change our debug widget to be something else. So let's say it's a focus mode page or something. All right, so let's refresh this. It'll bring us to a different page here. We'll go to blocked apps. Was that smooth? Let me see. I think there's still a little bit of a flicker there. Let me see. Yeah, there was a little bit of a flicker. Okay, so it's not a loading issue. It is actually just flickering. Let's keep looking. There has to be a solution somewhere. Oh, wait. Did update change dependencies? But these aren't necessarily asset images. Hmm. Maybe a YouTube video would help? I hope that my videos don't look like this. It's like a little bit blurry. I feel like it might. I hope not. Is this guy using Android Studios? He is. I wonder when he fixes it. Alright, I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, maybe we just need to wrap it around with something. Let's see. What does the placeholder have to be? Image provider? Let's see how to figure out bait an image. But I don't know if I want a placeholder. That's the problem. I don't know if there's a way to fix this. All right, I'm gonna try doing this, where this should technically load. Give it some time. I mean, it definitely seems a little bit weird. Like that it's not there off the bat. There has to be something that we're doing wrong. Why do we pull in? Oh, we pull this in to make sure that it's filtered. Okay. Cool. I don't know if there's a way to fix this flickering. I mean, there is. We can do a load-in image. Should we just try it and see if it works? Or see like how we can fade in image placeholder transparent image. Oh, past the empty string. Okay. Let's do that. Is it image? Right, so we're just trying to get an animation going. See if we can, let's see here. Try to get an animation and see if that helps. It does not help. It still flickers. Right, let's undo this animated opacity stuff, because that's not right. It doesn't make any sense. It's obviously not been cached, right? Cache images and how to cache generated images. I don't want a network image. That's the problem. Maybe I'm just generating images wrong. Let's this so I found a solution, but it seems a little bit complicated. Let's do image.memory white flicker. Alright, it says that gapless true is supposed to work. So maybe I was just doing it wrong the entire time. We have gapless true. Maybe it's just something that shows on the simulator. There has to be an answer somewhere. Oh, wait, painting, binding. Why don't we try this? I don't know what this will do, but hopefully I don't break anything. No, that did not help. Alright, let's wipe all of those. Try to search from the start, make it a little bit less messy. See if we could find something. Quality. Is there a quality? Hmm. It only happens once. Is this really a problem that I should worry about? Hmm. I don't think I'm gonna find an answer here. The gapless playback thing doesn't work. It might just be a bug, to be honest. And it only happens one time. I dedicated like 20 minutes towards trying to figure it out, and it's not working. So, or it's not, for some reason it's not populating properly. So maybe we just leave it alone for now and we'll tackle it back later. So let's um let's do, where should we put this? Maybe here? Yeah, let's do it here. To do, and we'll make a bug as well in our repo so that everyone else can see it. So we'll do a new issue. Um, Image flickers when on first start or blocked app list. The app images that are generated by recreating icons from a device flicker when starting. I have looked into caching the image but haven't found any solutions, and animations don't seem to work. We may need to have a longer animation, or maybe not worry about this since this happens only once on the first load. Tackle this as a quality of life change. Alright, assign to no one, labels, bug, project. Do we want to add it to the, yeah, sure, we'll add it to a project. I obviously milestones are a little bit, I might have to adjust my milestones. Maybe we'll do that next session, but I think that's good. We'll do this. Is there a way to share? How do you share specific how to share GitHub issues link? How do you I mean, yes, I could use the URL, but how did I do? I think I had another to do here somewhere. Okay, yeah, I just did a link. Okay, cool. Honestly, we should probably start having proper practices. So let's just go ahead, save this. This is good enough work. And we'll commit. So we'll say added more select added select functionality for blocking apps and we can push this. Hopefully this all works fine. And then we'll tackle testing maybe a different time. Cool. So pushed it. Good to go. It's a pretty good session. We got some work done. Obviously, like when you do things like with the 80-20 rule and you get like 80% done and 20% just, you do feel a little bit bummed out about the 20%. But I think the important thing is just to keep on going. Understand that things are never going to be perfect, especially when you're just like starting out and learning a bunch of different things. But thanks for watching. Hope that you were productive as well. Hopefully you learned something. If you liked the video, then subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.